again and now hopes for a different result. Our quarterback, Cam Newton, sat down with Philly's signal caller. Let's take a listen.
So you got Saquon, you got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, a list of other impactful players. How do you manage expectations from them?
Yeah, I think when you have the pool of talent you have all of the opportunity in front of you, I think everyone has to be focused on the main thing. The main thing is the mission that was established long ago and winning and focusing on just that from the quarterback position and understanding that it's going to look 1,000 different ways, but it's not my job to do anything other than win the game.
All right. Cam, do you feel like Hurts will decide the Super Bowl?
Yes and no. Yes, because I think and I always say it, and I want to stay consistent. The winning formula for Jalen Hurts is not like any other quarterback in the NFL, right? We're so quick to ask the question, hey, is he this? Is he that? Well, you don't have to be, and that's not always a bad thing to say. I just think it's not always mentioned in that way. I think it's going to really come down to how can Saquon Barkley impact and stay true to the big play abilities that we've been able to see from him throughout. I mean, in this past game, it was the first play. It was instant. It was just on us that fast. So even though Jalen Hurts is a person, an unsung hero on this team, I do think it will still come down to, can Steve Spagnuolo control or mitigate the damage that Saquon Barkley, in essence, can.
Yeah, and to me,
well, first, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead, Steve. I'm going to try not to be CIA and just give it to you quick and right off the top here. I think the answer to that question is unabundantly yes, and here's why. Spags has been the defensive coordinator now for 6 seasons with Kansas City. 18 times in the postseason, he has held the opposing rusher to under 100 yards. And I think they go into this game saying Saquon Barkley is not going to beat us. If we're going to lose left-handed, meaning Saquon Barkley, it may take 10 people at the line of scrimmage. You are not going to win this game. And what we saw in the championship game, when it was still competitive, Washington had that same thought. Jalen Hurts made some really big-time throws. Marshawn Lattimore could not keep up with A.J. Brown. And I think at the end of the day, that's what this game script is going to be, that Jalen Hurts is going to have to make some throws from the pocket. And we go back to that Super Bowl a couple of years ago. He outplayed Patrick Mahomes from the pocket, and that's why I think this game is going to be so competitive.
Well, a couple of things. Number one, first of all, good morning, everybody. Secondly, Cam Newton, I'm proud of you. I think you've been doing a fabulous job. But today was the first time I saw a flagrant mistake on your part. You don't answer questions on first take. Well, it might be, but it might not be. Nah. We take a side. That's what we do on first take, okay, big boy? That's, having said that, Mr. CIA, you know that's affectionate. The art of saying nothing is a tremendous skill that most people don't have. You have the ability to sit up there and talk with somebody, and they're like, what did he just say? That's not when they're trying to get information from you. That's all I mean by that. But I love you. Here's the deal, y'all. The answer to this question is yes. Why? Because we know who Patrick Mahomes is on the other side when he has the ball. We also know who Steve Spagnuolo is as the defensive coordinator. Now, contrary to popular belief, Kansas City doesn't blitz as much as people think. They rank like 13th out of 32 teams in the National Football League. It's not like we're one of the top 2 or 3 teams that blitz in the NFL. It's just that when they send extra bodies at you, they're very, very effective in doing so. Now we got to transition to Jalen Hurts and how he's going to respond to that. He does have mobility. Not extreme mobility, but we know that brother can run with the football. We know what Jalen Hurts can do. We know what kind of athlete he is, okay? But when you talk about him facing unblocked pressure, when you send those extra bodies and they get at him, he's not the quickest when it comes to reacting to that. And that has been deemed to be an Achilles heel, according to scouts who have monitored and evaluated him over the years. So now we've got to look at it from the standpoint, you got A.J. Brown, you got Devontae Smith, you got Dallas Scott, you've got Saquon Barkley. You've got an offensive line that literally plugs holes as wide as Broadway on a Sunday morning. I mean, there's nothing in your way, okay? That's what we're talking about Jalen Hurts having as his teammates. Of course, that's going to come come down to him. Because in the end, he can deliver the goods. And listen, the Philadelphia Eagles got a chance to win this Super Bowl. They're just as good, if not better, than the Kansas City Chiefs. And when we know that and we look around their personnel and we see a team that is on that level, if not superior to Kansas City, the only place that we look at clear superiority is in a quarterback position between Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has a chance to win the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts has a chance to be MVP of this Super Bowl. It's going to come down to how he plays. If he plays effectively, I believe the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl championship.
Okay, in order for them to win, Stephen A., my point is this. Steve Spagnuolo, offensive play caller for the Philadelphia Eagles, and Kellen, you know how you have to keep Patrick Mahomes off the football field. You understand you have to control the line of scrimmage. Who does that better than anybody in this league this year? Saquon Barkley. And that's not to poke fun or poke at skill sets, because this is also what Jalen Hurts did mention. Just because I haven't doesn't mean that I can't. I agree with that. And I think more than anything, which is more alarming, is that the Washington Commanders had a strong case of fay and foe, right? You understand what that is? Fay and foe.
No.
Mm-hmm. They fooled around and they found out about A.J. Brown. Understand that if you put us in single coverage, A.J. Brown is going to get off. Devontae Smith is going to get off. So do we really have the personnel defensively to say we want to have matchups with A.J. Brown from the Kansas City Chiefs?
Right, and Cam, my answer to that is if you look at Philadelphia over the course of the season, they lead the league in designed runs. That's who they are. That's why Saquon has been in the MVP conversation. And that's why, to me, what Spags is going to say is if we're going to lose left-handed, and it's going to be A.J. Brown. It's going to be Devontae Smith. Maybe it's Dallas Goedert. But to me, I think why this game script is so fascinating is it's going to be in Jalen Hurts' hands. And we could go back to his dad being a high school coach in Dallas. We could go back to when he was benched for Tua. You know, a lot of people say that for quarterbacks, winning is not a quarterback stat, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, like, Jalen Hurts has always risen to the competition, and now he's in the Super Bowl twice in 3 years, and they're on the precipice of, look, he's never going to be Patrick Mahomes, we know that, but he is really close to being called a Super Bowl champion, being in the game twice in 3 years, and he deserves a ton of credit for that. And if they don't win this game, maybe Patrick Mahomes is Superman one more time. But my sense of it is the way he's playing right now, Jalen Hurts won't be the reason they lose.
Mike T, let me ask you this question respectfully. I mean, I just want to know, do you think the likelihood is that McDuffie is going to be assigned to A.J. Brown?
I would think so. I think they're going to go good on good. Well, you know, that's
so crystallize that lineup, that matchup for me. How do you think that? Because Cam just said what he said about A.J. Brown, but McDuffie's no slouch.